Hi, and welcome. I'm so glad that you chose to join me. I am talking to you about being a caregiver. Hey, if this is your first time, a lot of people will always say, "Oh, you're such a good person to do this. You're doing God's work." Yeah, okay, I'm doing God's work. It used to irritate me when I heard that. But this is the thing, it isn't just about love. Yeah, you love your loved one. Yes, you're going to be there to take care of them. But sometimes you're forced into it, meaning you're a sudden caregiver. This was probably not on an agenda of things to do at a certain time of your life. No, a lot of times, majority of the time, as a caregiver, you're thrown into it. Sometimes it's a matter of convenience because of the situation that you're in. Nobody else can step up to the plate and you can. But please remember this, there's always a choice. And sometimes you may not feel like you have a choice. I didn't feel like I had a choice, but I did it. I did it for both my parents. My dad, I willingly went into it and I helped him. But at the same time that I was helping my dad, I had to suddenly take care of my mom, which was unexpected. And when added to this mix was dementia. When my dad passed away 2 months later, I had to take care of my mom. I wouldn't have it any other way. I couldn't have it any other way. We could not afford it. Here in California, the cost of active care, 24-hour care, the care that she needed would have cost anywhere from $7,000 a month to $20,000 a month, depending on what your needs are. It's a pricey price. Even if I were to get a temporary caregiving backup, for 4 hours so I can continue on with my life, continue on with my job, we're talking at least $25 to $30 an hour. And that's usually for only 4 hours a day because that's all I could afford. These are all things you have to think about. I'm going to tell you, this is not going to be a fluff, you're doing a great job type thing, which you probably are doing a great job. But I'm going to be real with you as to what caregiving is really about. It's probably one of the hardest jobs you'll ever do. I can speak from my own experience. It is hard. It isn't just because of love, but here's the ugly truth of it, it's a journey. It's a journey that you decide to take on, sometimes not by choice, but it's a journey that you're taking. And I commend you for taking that. It's not an easy job because immediately you realize how overwhelmed and confusing things are. You have to peel things apart to try to figure out what makes sense, especially when you're dealing with dementia and dementia caregiving. In my case, it was just my mom and I. I didn't have a clue where her stuff was. We weren't that close. But sometimes you have to figure out, where did you keep this? Where did you keep that? Where is this? Where is that? Why is the mail piled up? Why haven't you been opening the mail? Basically, you're asking a bunch of questions to people that can't give you an answer. Not because they're not unwilling to, they just don't have the mental capacity at this point in their illness to answer properly, to help you. It's a thankless and lonely job. I'm not here to splash a bunch of negativity, but let's face it and let's be real with each other. People disappear. People don't know how to help. When they offer to help, you're so confused and overwhelmed with everything, you don't even know how to ask for help. The overwhelm it's so extreme that the closest people to you don't even understand. And the pressure and the stress that you're under. 67% of caregivers stand a chance of getting more sick than the person that you're caring for, because it's all these things you have to resolve, all these things you have to keep in order. And that's the whole thing. You need to find an outlet. It took me over a year to figure out I needed to find a support group, because in that year of fighting it, I realized that the people that I relied on for me weren't around. They had their own things going on. They couldn't be there for me. And even if they could be there for me, they didn't understand what caregiving was about. And that's why it's so important. And I will say this, to have a support group, find a dementia caregiving support group. I found Dr. Natalie Edmonds, who heads up Dementia Care Blazers, careblazers.com. They literally saved me, because it was like finding the mothership of other caregivers that spoke my language and were going through the exact same thing. Number one, it created some form of stability, mental stability. Oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. Oh my gosh, you get where I'm coming from. Can I ask a question? Does it sound silly? And they will have answers. No, it doesn't sound silly. This is what I did. Yes, I know exactly what happens. This is what we did. You need people like that in your life, especially in the beginning, because every time you try to do it on your own, it's like spinning a plate on a little stick, spinning the plate. Keep it going, kind of like a frisbee on your finger, but you're spinning a plate. And then something else happens, and you got to go to the other stick, and then you got to spin that plate. And then you got to spin the other plate. Next thing you know, you probably got 5 to 10 plates spinning, and you can't let any of them drop. That is exactly what it feels like. And the key to everything is, too, structure. Somehow in all this chaotic mess, you have to find some form of structure that fits your loved one and your surroundings. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be something that works for you so that you don't feel so out of control. Structure. If you're organized, now's the time to use it. At least have some things in order. Everybody needs that. You know, one thing when it comes to caregiving and understanding your loved one with dementia, I had a hard time with this. And I didn't figure it out until later, until maybe a year and a half into caregiving. Do not correct your loved one. They're not 100% up here. And you trying to correct them is futile. You try to meet them where they're at. Maybe even try to deflect something so that you don't have that battle of, well, this is the way it should be. Why did you do that? Don't do that. Gingerly ask them, well, let's try it this way. Well, let's do it this way. Let me help you, without doing any correction. And stop saying, hey, remember, this is how we do it. Remember this, remember that. That's part of the problem. They don't remember. Not only that, like my mom, she would have good days and bad days. And on the bad days, she would repeat the same thing over and over again within 5 minutes. I would be giving her breakfast, and I come back a little bit later, say, are you finished? She say, yeah, I'm finished. I take away the bowl, and she goes, hey, when am I gonna have breakfast? I'm like, I'm holding the bowl. You just told me you finished. And then I follow it with, remember? No, she doesn't. Obviously, she wouldn't have said that. That's the craziness, And then Like when I needed time for myself and I had to get an outside caregiver that I would hire for X amount of dollars for so many hours so that I could do what I needed to do. I don't need any help. Everything's fine. Why do you need somebody to help you with this? Why do you need and I actually try to explain it to her, but it's like, why even bother? Why even bother? And I made the mistake of saying, but mom, you need help and I can't, we need to have this. And I don't need help. I could do it on my own. That is a classic answer to anybody that's dealing with dementia. They don't realize that they're sick, or they do realize that something's happening and they don't know why it's happening. And they're scared. It took me a while, but through my support group, I learned you just tell her you need the help. Hey, mom, I'm going to have so and so come over. They're coming to help me do XYZ because I need the help. I hope you don't mind that they're coming to the house, but they're coming to help me. Oh, okay. But no, before I was going like, you need this, you need that. And immediately, no, I don't. But the second I put it on me, it was okay. I get it. You're trying to learn on the fly. You're trying to figure things out as they're happening. My biggest thing is create some form of structure, have a game plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you don't have to be feeling guilty about anything, that you're not getting it right, that you're not doing it right. It's a huge learning curve. There is no set way. Every case is different. Give yourself a break. Allow some grace for yourself. I think the hardest part is getting past ourselves. But allow yourself to give yourself a break. Because what ends up happening is burnout. All of a sudden, your fuse is really, really short. Your temper is quick. And those are the things, because you have burnout. Caregiver burnout is real. And when you get to that point, it's hard because the patience is gone. Your patience to be a decent caregiver is gone. Everybody needs support. And even if it's to get away for a couple of hours, to hire somebody to come sit and be with your loved one, keep them company. You go take time out for yourself because your battery is obviously running on low. Charge it up. Do something that you enjoy, something that you like, something that fills you up so that you can come back with a better attitude. Everybody needs a break. Everyone does. Whether they're rearing their own children or they're dealing with caregiving, or it doesn't matter. There's a reason why when you work a job, they give you a 15-minute break. Even they recognize you need time off. The difference is when you're a caregiver to your loved one, chances are you're doing the work of 3 to 4 people. And there's nobody else doing it. Unless you're blessed with family that can step up and say, hey, I'll take a shift. I'll do this. I'll do that. But if you're in it by yourself, as I was, you really have to think about you. It's not being selfish. It's good selfishness. It's okay to be selfish. I'm going to tell you, find out the medication that your loved one's on. Make a list. Learn about why these medications exist. What is it? Is it beneficial to your loved one? Get to know, be familiar with the medicines, because That'll be something that will continually be brought up every single day. I took my mom's blood pressure and glucose to test with her finger to see if her blood sugar was high or low, or I did a blood pressure readings. I did it all that every single day. I have years of those on a daily basis to find out, are we on the right track? Is she okay? Is the medication working? And then when you do have an appointment, you have something to refer back to. It's so important. Kind of get something regular. I put it on a tiny little calendar. So I had 12 months worth and just put the numbers in there. Make your own little note. And, it's a thankless job. It's lonely. Like I said before, people disappear. I don't know where they go, but they're not around you. Maybe it's they don't know what to do with it. Maybe they don't know what to do with you. At one point, somebody told me, I could see a change in you. And I didn't understand what they meant. Actually, I still don't understand what they meant. I was too deep in things to know. But it's so important that when you feel this isolation and you feel this loneliness, that you have somebody to talk to. Anyone. Just someone to hear you. You just want to be heard. You just want to be seen. Actually, you want to be understood. And because it's such an isolating journey that you're on, sometimes you can't be heard and understood by the people that have always been in your life. And that's why it's so important to have a support group, because you will be frustrated. You will also feel some sense of guilt and anger and resentment. I had all those feelings. I don't know one caregiver that has not experienced any form other than those. I mean, guilt. Am I doing this right? God, I lost my temper again. Why? Why am I doing this? Resentment. Where is everybody? How come they're not helping me? Why isn't nobody stepping up to the plate to be with me? I'm so frustrated, right? All these things. All these things are normal. I'm really sorry to tell you this, but it is normal. But it's so important for you to take respite time, which is that time to get away, to it's important to talk to people. You can't keep this stuff bottled up. It'll eat you up. Your stress level will go through the roof. And in the flip side, when there is a victory to be celebrated, celebrate it. If there's a win to be had, celebrate that too. Try to find the beauty in the simplicity of things. For me, my mom, every morning, if it was a nice sunny day, I'd open up her blinds. She was bedridden. And I'd see bunny rabbits outside. And then I'd see little California lizards jumping up on mom's wheelchair ramp. And every once in a while, she'd have a family of quail. And it was really cool to see. But those were the little pluses. Those were the little wins in the day. Those were the things to break the monotony. And then we could have conversations about it. And always in the spring, I would see little baby bunnies. The blue jays tapping out the window. They're obnoxious. I think they're the elite version of the gangs for birds. The lowlifes are the crows. My mom had a whole thing about birds, but let me tell you, when it comes to gang members, I'd say they're all the crows. And then the gang members that were all dressed up and nice and looking fine, they were equally mean. They were the blue jays. They're aggressive, man. Oh, God. But isolation is real, and it's really important that you speak to somebody. If you have a, if you're blessed enough to go to a therapist, I'd say go for it. But it really is important to find a support group, people to talk to, and don't be the person that will not ask for help. Swallow your pride and ask for help with anything. Ask somebody, could you come here? Could you just give me an hour's time? Give me 2 hours time. Could you sit with my mom, my dad, my loved one, whomever? I'm stressing to you, if anything, to take care of yourself. Because without you, who's going to take care of your loved one? Who's going to be able to do it? Because quite honestly, let's face it, in our eyes, nobody's going to do a better job than us. And to some degree, that's true. We will do the best we can. But we're all only asking for a little bit of time. Have that time for yourself. Ask for help. And remember, you're amazing. Not only are you amazing, you're a warrior in disguise. You see, to your loved one, they may not say it. They may not know how to say it, but they're so grateful. My mom and I didn't get along for most of my life. And I thought, how ironic. I'm the one that's taking care of you. But it was good that it happened because my mom and I were able to work things out. Sad thing is, we worked it out in the last year of her life. Some cases are not always like that. Sometimes you're forced into doing something to a person that wasn't even nice to you when you were younger. But you still stepped up and you're there. Being a caregiver, again, is a hard job. Even when you have a good relationship, it's even harder when the relationship was not strong. But you have to remember something. You need to remind yourself that when you stepped up to the plate, that's a plate that people don't even want to acknowledge. You did. And that's what sets you apart to be so amazing. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let that take away anything. Because when I say you're a warrior, you are fighting on behalf of your loved one. You are their only advocate. You're a warrior in disguise. You're doing something that not everybody can do. And see the value in that. I commend you for what you're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect. The fact that you're showing up is enough. Take care of yourself. I'm going to come up with another video. It's going to help you a little bit more in depth. But the main emphasis on this is it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be rosy. What's love got to do about it? I guess that's the reason why you showed up. I suppose that's the reason why you showed up, is because of love. But don't be jaded. Don't be jaded. You're special. You're blessed. And remember to always take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching. And please remember to hit the subscribe button. We are trying to grow our channel and reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, for every new subscriber, these two nutheads right here, they're going to get a treat, so we will all be happy. Thanks for watching.